Okay, so in this video, we are going to be making the histograms from the frequency tables that we talked about in the last video. So, first you need to make your frequency table, which we already did, with your designated number of classes. So because this said 4 classes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different classes here. So you are going to put your lower class limit on your horizontal axis, which is your x axis, and the frequencies on your vertical axis, or the y. This is your y axis. Okay, for each class of your table, you are going to draw a bar whose width extends between corresponding class boundaries. For histograms, the height of each bar should correspond to the class frequency. Okay, so let's go ahead and make one of these. So we have 4 different classes. So you want to have, and so, oops, I am using the inches side of mine, and you're going to want to have a bar or some space before and some space after. So because we have 4 classes, we're going to make this 6 inches long. Okay. And I'm just going to make a little dot at each inch. Now you can use your centimeter side. I just wanted this to kind of take up more space. So I'm actually going to use the centimeter side for the vertical axis. So our highest frequency here up here is 5. So we don't need to make this any higher than 5, but I'll just make it 6 just so that we have a little bit of space afterwards. So and I'm using the centimeter side on this one. So your y-axis is your frequency. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then your class boundaries are going to go down here. So the class boundaries went from 0.5 to 2.5 was the first one. So if this is 0, this would be our 0.5, and then our 2.5, then our 4.5, our 6.5, and then our 8.5. So from the 0.5 to the 2.5, there was a frequency of 3. So I would start here and go up 3 centimeters. and that's this entire thing here. And then you still put your number above it. So the frequency was 3, so I'm going to put a 3 above here. So it was the same for the 4.5. So then the next one was 5. So I only need to go up 2 more centimeters from this one. And then this was 5. And then the last one was at 4. So okay, and then the last thing that you will need is a title. Now, this was just random information. They didn't give you what that information was about. So I am just, or data. So I'm just going to put title here so that you remember it. But your title should actually have to do with your data. So now we're just going to talk about some of these shapes, because you're going to have to say what type of shape it is for your histograms. So a mound shape is when you have a symmetrical, which means that your histogram where both of your sides are pretty much the same when the graph is folded vertically down the middle. So meaning that it's going to look something like this. So if you have your graph, so you can only have this one if there's an odd number though. So if there wasn't 5 bars here, then you wouldn't be able to use a mound shape. So okay. And your tallest bar must be in the middle. So a uniform or a rectangular refers to a histogram where every class has an equal frequency, and so meaning that all the bars are the same height. So when you have one that looks like this. Okay, skewed left and skewed right. This one is your most common. So this refers to a histogram in which the bars either go mostly smallest to largest or largest to smallest. So you have to be specific if it's left or right skewed. So one that is left skewed would look like this. So see how it's taller on the left, on the right side. So that means that it's skewed to the left. So then right skewed is just the opposite, where more of your information is on the left side. So it's kind of backwards when you think about it. So they start off higher and get smaller. And then bimodal refers to a histogram in which the two classes with the largest frequencies are separated by at least two other classes. So what that looks like is so here are the two tallest bars. And it means that they need to be separated by at least two other classes. So these two right here. So because there's two in between them, it makes this bimodal. Okay, so let's label this one. So if we're looking at this, most of our information is on the right side. So there are 6. The frequency between these two is 6, and here it's 9. So there's more information over here than there is over here, which means that this shape is left skewed because more information is on the right side. So make sure that you also put a shape with all of your histograms. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions, especially on the shapes, because the left and the right skewed can be a little confusing. Yeah, so let me know if you have any questions.